Hello everybody, I'm here on the modules page on Canvas and we are starting the second week of the class. Here are the textbooks, and you did start reading They Say, I Say last week. We're going to get a start on strategic thinking and complex problem solving next. And when you open it, it'll look like this. And by the way, kind of a nice feature is there's an abstract for each chapter, which is like a summary, tells you what the chapter is going to cover. Give this a careful reading, but I want you to target your reading. So if you just scroll on down here to the reading guides, I give you a guide to reading the chapter and a particular approach I want you to take in your reading. Okay? So that's what's up for the reading. Really important this week. Kind of the key to the rest of the semester in a lot of ways. For class assignments, there is the class discussion. Now, because of the Labor Day holiday on Monday, it's not going to require you to do the first posting on Wednesday, but on Thursday. So that should be, let's change that. That should be Thursday. If you look down here, yeah, see Thursday and Saturday. So let me do a quick fix there. Tuesday, no, Thursday. Much better. Okay. And it aligns with what the content is of the assignment. Now, what I did was divide the reading up, so you don't have to read the whole chapter before Thursday. In fact, I want you to take your time with that chapter, so I broke it into two chunks. So the first discussion posting for Thursday, due by midnight Thursday, deals with the first 8 pages of chapter 1. And then the Saturday posting deals with the rest of the chapter, well, the last 9 pages anyway. And there are the responding instructions there. Don't forget those. You're going to respond to a Saturday posting. So that's it for the discussions due Thursday and Saturday. But let's look at a couple of other assignments. You've got reading questions, of course, on that same chapter. And there is a short piece of writing coming up, kind of the beginning in a lot of ways of all the writing you're going to do for the semester, especially the out-of-class writing. This one's a little bit different. It's short, and instead of typing it up as an essay in a separate place and uploading it like you will the later assignments, this one allows you to type right here on Canvas since it's kind of short. And once you read what Chevalier says about a wicked problem, you get to pick one. And this really will be the topic of pretty much all the writing you're going to do in the class, at least the multi-paragraph assignments, the essays. So your job here is to pick a problem. And there are basically 3 categories of problem. Global problem. For example, some students last semester picked the Pacific Ocean garbage patch. Someone else picked climate change. A few people were interested in drought. One in California, one I think in sub-Saharan Africa, kind of driving a lot of the hunger and migration and all kinds of strife they've had in those countries, partly due to the fact there's just less food because of the drought. So that's kind of interesting too. So those are examples of global problems. And if you jump on down to the next category, local or regional ones, this could involve the transportation system. One student last semester wrote about a particular patch of highway where she grew up that was the site of a lot of fatal accidents because it was a poorly designed, poorly maintained road, for instance. It could be a regional problem like life in the city or in your neighborhood or in your county or in your part of the state, as I kind of list here. And then the final category, big decision you have to make, means of transportation, major purchase, personal project. Now, those are the three categories. You need to pick one problem, and it could come from any of the three categories I just listed here. But just pick one and name it. It's got to be a specific problem. So don't just say, I picked a global problem. No. No, which one? Or regional or individual. So read through this carefully. The first paragraph deals with you naming that problem, the actual problem, specifically, as I stumble over my words, and then explain why you chose it. The second paragraph points out why anyone else would care about the problem. And I could go ahead and explain that. And there's some do's and don'ts here. Read through them carefully. And you'll see a button that you can push that opens a text box here on Canvas where you can actually type your two paragraphs. Okay, and that is due next Monday. So I would take care of this week's discussion and reading questions, and it'll set you up nicely for getting into this wicked problem. Let me kind of change the order here. This is the pattern of work I suggest for you for this week. Anyway, have a great week. And if you have any questions about the assignment for this week, any assignment for this week, feel free to ask in the class chat room if you want to pick up some reading question points. And I'm really looking forward to reading your work on these three assignments. Have a great week.